call any finance meeting to order. Do we have any public comment? Hearing none, we'll move on to the topic for discussion, which is the Household Hazardous Waste Program update. Mr. Miller, Mr. Stone.
Okay, so here really is a feeler. Get your guys' reaction to some concepts we've been kicking around internally, and it's really related, and we'll get into this in a minute, but you know, we operate off solid waste fund that's declining. And so we have a waste management plan revision coming up here. We're going to have to probably start in a year. These are some of the topics that we're going to have to address. So just trying to think ahead. This is not critical immediate action. Just want to throw some ideas out.
So in other words, Commissioner Herzer's right, this is going to cost us a lot.
That's correct. Okay. Just a little summary. Since 2014, we've done a one-day event, usually the first Saturday in August. We contract with a hazardous waste company. We have to. Once we accept that material, it's interesting what Pennsylvania law says. It becomes hazardous, regulated, so we have to have a hazardous waste company manage it. Gross costs in the program have fluctuated. It depends on the amount of material we get and the types of material. It's been anywhere from 50 to 100,000. That's gross cost. And that's partially paid for. We use state grants. We've gotten some sponsorships. A big one from Advanced Disposal. Yeah. That's tied to our waste disposal contract, which is going to end in 5 years. And my gut feeling is we'll probably lose that $20,000.
The county's waste disposal.
Yeah. So when we did our last plan revision, we put out RFPs for disposal capacity, and we included a component, voluntary contribution or sponsorship of any of our programs. They signed up for $20,000. They were the only ones, but it is tied to that contract. So when that contract expires or is replaced, I mean, we can try to renew it, but I can't guarantee you that that's going to happen. And then any remaining balance that our solid waste fund has picked up. Here's the number summary for those last 5 years. So as the previous slide said, you can see it's been anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000. Last 2 years have been on the higher side, and I think as maybe awareness is increasing. The Department of Environmental Protection offers 50% reimbursement of what they call eligible costs, and that would be anything that's not covered by a fee. Just want to point that out. I mentioned in a moment. And obviously, so the Department of Ag also pays for any pesticides turned in. So that gets knocked off our bill, and then DEP pays 50% of the remaining balance. You can see the Advanced Disposal sponsorship. That's been a significant contribution.
I'm sorry, I apologize. What's our contract with Advanced Disposal for?
Disposal capacity. So they've agreed to accept 100% of Cumberland County generated waste. Because every county is required to prove that they have disposal.
You're talking about the Cumberland County landfill.
That's right. They are owned by Advanced Disposal.
Right, we just collect it through the event, then somebody has to, and it's that.
What's that?
Somebody has to take it off our hands. We collect it at our event, right?
Well,
No.
Why would we be changing the location of our capacity at Advanced Disposal's coming out of the landfill?
All right.
I'm sorry to dig.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Like, I understand where you guys are coming from. Okay, this material is what we collect at our special annual event. It's material that has hazardous characteristics.
Right.
The intent is to keep it out of the land.
Yes.
Out of the landfill. So
Right.
Yeah.
But they donate to us, they give us $20,000 annually. You said that their contract's coming up for, in terms of the capacity. In terms of the capacity issue. So why wouldn't they necessarily be, receiving that contract the next time?
They could, but that was a strictly voluntary component. It was right around the time that county admin fees had gone away. I think they did it to be good neighbors. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you recall, a little while ago, they submitted an application we reviewed it, and one of our comments was, we want the state to recognize that contribution as a benefit.
For the expansion.
Yeah, because I think that it can be considered a benefit when they're trying to get approval. But they're not the only facility, Jim. Any facility can submit a proposal and say, we can accept Cumberland County waste.
So, and then Advanced Disposal has, contracts mostly in the western part of the county for hauling residential waste or?
They accept waste from all over the country, yeah. Well, I mean, they can, that's predominantly Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York.
Okay, but those of us who, like in the West Shore, we have like York Waste. And that, what we collect, goes down to where, York landfill?
That depends on your hauler. If it's Penn Waste,
Or landfill.
they go to the incinerator, they like to use incinerators.
Scott Wagner Company,
Yeah.
that's who we have these.
East Penn, Republic, they own Modern Landfill in York. They like to internalize, so they'll take waste to Modern. They're in our plan. They submitted a proposal that says we can handle Cumberland County waste. Waste management uses their own disposal facilities. Advanced disposal uses Cumberland County landfill because they own that. They all like to internalize if they can. A company may run a load out there. So.
I'm just trying to understand the incentive that Advanced Disposal has to contribute $20,000 to this program.
Yeah, I think it was
General goodwill.
be a good neighbor. Hope it looks good when they submit applications for expansion. But it was strictly their choice, voluntary. They did not have to do it. And just the way the industry is trending now, I could be wrong. I just don't have a gut feeling that will continue when our current 10-year contract expires.
Okay. Go on, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
It's just.
We've been trying, in addition to Advance, we've been trying the last couple of years to get our municipalities and/or trash haulers that operate in the county to sponsor the program and send out an annual sponsorship form. That's, in my opinion, met with lackluster performance. As you can see there, we haven't generated a whole lot of money. Only about 1 cent in the big scheme of things. And then solid waste fund has picked up about 12 cents on average per pound of the total program cost of 83 cents. Any questions on that table there? So some of our program challenges, there's not really a convenience factor with a one-day event. We get calls all year long on this type of material. Costs are unknown. It depends, once again, on your turnout and what they bring. As we just had a good discussion about, long-term availability of sponsors, don't know if Advance is going to stay there, and even being dependent on state grants. Also, the solid waste fund is declining, and I put a chart there. So if you look at 2006, that's when the court cases came down that said counties could no longer collect administrative fees. That's when our max fund balance existed, and it's been declining every year, obviously, because we don't have a revenue stream. We have taken steps in the last couple of years to really fight that annual decline. But it continues to decline, and at some point in the future, it's going to get to zero. So just trying to think of it here.
One of our performance measures for our department is to maximize that solid waste fund, keep it as long as we can, and have it support our operations. So everything you've seen to date with the yard waste program, having the municipalities help pay for the cost of that, even the e-cycling center where we're looking at user fees, part of the intent is to offer that service without having big hits to the solid waste fund.
Kurt or Justin, what is a healthy number for that fund to be at?
I want to make sure I understand your question.
All right, it keeps decreasing. I mean, I look at it to be $650,000.
So you're saying, is there a critical point?
Yes. Is there like a?
I think we're getting there now because of our yard waste program.
Okay.
Like a new grinder costs $650,000.
Okay, well, that answers my question.
So to front that money, now we have some money in a capital fund, about $250.
Mm-hmm.
But to answer your question, we're getting,
Is that in addition to this? in addition to this number?
Yeah, so our total, assets is 800, about 800,000.
Maybe.
Okay.
But you have to pay your money up front and then get reimbursed, so we're, in the next couple of years, there's gonna be an issue of, do we have enough cash on hand to finance the purchase? So the concept, I just wanted to get your reaction to, is charging a user fee at the household hazardous waste event. Just like our other big two programs, yard waste, we charge municipalities an hourly fee to use the equipment. And the e-cycling center, we charge a per pound fee, which I think has gone very well. We could do this using the existing contractor. The other, if we went this route, I would encourage you and us to consider offering additional events. If you look at the question, so at our annual event, we do a survey. And one of the questions is, would you be willing to pay for certain items? And you can see, majority said yes. Now, there's comments we didn't put on there. Some of the comments were, yes, but we would like to see increased convenience. So I would encourage us to consider that if we did it up.
Are you looking at this as a singular combined, not a set of options? In other words, you would move toward multiple events instead of a one-day event.
Mhm.
So the one-day event is not, you're not able to just say, we're gonna charge for the one-day event. You're not putting that on the
We
table.
could.
You're putting a single option on
Yeah.
the table. All right, have we looked at that idea, or maybe what would it look like for us if we did go ahead and institute, for instance, the charge, but continue to do it on a one-day, continue to do it at the service center rather than the e-cycling center? You know, did you give any consideration to breaking this into various options, or is this just?
Yeah, actually, I have some, let me go back. I ran some scenarios using this chart, assuming we lost the advanced sponsorship. And what fee would we have to charge? And it was really based on the one-day event. So I can give you that information.
But you've looked at them, so
Yeah.
I'll let you finish your thing here. I just wanted to know if we considered other options.
But I would, we have been hoarding it out at Allen Road. If we go to weighing material, I'd recommend we consider looking at the facility down there because we have a scale and we have the ability to collect money. Staging might be a little bit of an issue, but we'll figure that. We have thoughts.
But not to get too deep into that, but do you envision taking household hazardous waste and e-cycling at the same
No,
time, or you would
no.
stagger them
We-
one day for this, one day for that, or one week for this, one week for that, or something?
Yeah, not
You do
yet.
them as separate.
I'm envisioning, or my initial thought was maybe 3 HHW events, totally separate.
Okay, so it wouldn't be on an ongoing basis, it
No,
would still be fed.
We can't
Multiple
because
events.
the
Okay.
vendor has to be there and he has to take that material and leave with it.
I see, you're not able to store.
We're not able to store it per regulation.
Thank
We've hit on some of these. Why are we even asking you this? Increased convenience. It's one of the common comments we hear. A little more long-term predictability of the program. But also, to be honest with you, I was nervous and reluctant about the fee for the electronics recycling, but I've been pleasantly surprised. And I think it brings with it an understanding that there is a cost to manage this material. The one-day events we do out there, Kirk's been there, I mean, you see people come in with truckloads of material, and some ways I think we feel like we're getting taken advantage of. So it puts some responsibility back on them to understand there's a cost to do this. So the numbers show to break even on what we've been paying out of solid waste fund, we have to charge about 25 cents a pound. If you remember, the total cost was around, it was 83, 85 cents a pound. So the consumer's still getting a break of 60 cents. Starting to see this in some other counties. It's another reason I've looked at it. Blair County, they have implemented a 50 cent per pound fee, but only for paint. Westmoreland County, they charge 85 cents a pound for everything. And my guess there is they're trying to cover the whole cost without relying on grants and sponsorships. Then Erie County, for a good buy, is charged 35 cents a pound. I hadn't dug deep enough to be able to tell you how they arrived at those numbers, but I could if you want to know that information. So, we're just here to, as I said, get your reaction and see if you want to explore it further. If you like the idea of implementing a fee, if you don't, I mean, we can continue doing what we're doing. Just want to make sure you understand that there's impacts to that solid waste fund.
For a while.
For a while, with the loss that we're experiencing.
You still need a long-term solution.
That's my point is, at some point we have to address that. If you're interested, we'll work on the details, put together a proposal, business plan for you, bring it back to you. We could try it next year, we could wait till 2020. If you're not interested in implementing a fee, that's your discretion as well.
Okay. I'd like to see what it looks like. Yeah, we're not compelled to implement it immediately, but it would be nice to know our options and to see what the impacts would be. What, in your opinion, now you said you've done the surveys, and what's that percentage been of people who have indicated a willingness to pay? What is it?
75%.
It's been pretty consistent. We've done it 2 years now, I asked the same question, but it's been pretty standard.
Your impact wise, so this past event, we had 1,083 cars, 100. I did the math, it was like, on average, each person would have to pay $25.
Okay. That's,
Someone paid more, someone paid less, but on average, about $25.
hopefully your average is dropping out of those big.
We could look at,
The big carrots
well,
over here.
yeah, we don't weigh it, I don't have that data.
They're outliers, that's what they're down, so but it gives us an idea, so that's fine. My question is, and I think the 75% number is a very positive number. You know, people recognize that there is a cost to this. The 25% who indicated no, well, what do you think they're going to do?
They probably wouldn't utilize the program. Now, unlike,
So they're either going to hoard it or dispose of it by illegal means.
well, that's the other interesting thing about this type of material. Unlike the electronics, and it's hard to explain this to the public, in a residential homeowner's hands, it's not considered hazardous, and you technically can dispose of it in the trash. Now, people will argue that's not the best thing to do, but you can do that. You give that to us, all of a sudden we become regulated, and we have to manage it for hazard characteristics.
Is that because of the amount that you have in possession of?
Yeah, that's driven by a federal law, and I think that when they wrote that law, they just felt that homeowners did not generate enough material, like businesses, to fall into regulation.
But collectively.
Now, I would argue, that's right, I would think collectively, we would probably generate a lot of material. But that is the law. Pennsylvania, most states allow, that's called a federal exclusion. Most states allow that exclusion to stay with the material from its birth to its death. Pennsylvania is one of 3 states that say, we recognize the federal exclusion, but if you collect it as part of a community collection event like we do, then it becomes subject to regulation. Because we get caught, like people, I think Florida, they don't have a more stringent state regulation. People that went in Florida say, well, they have these depots, I just take this stuff. Well, that's because it's still just considered solid waste, so we can take it to the landfill from that. So we can't do that either.
I'm just thinking here, how does it work with tires right now? You're planning to consider recycling tires or taking tires?
Not as part, we usually done tires separately.
Okay. I thought that was gonna be part of this household hazardous waste.
It could, I mean, when I think of that, you're thinking of paints, gasoline, fertilizers, pesticides.
Where do I see tires? I thought I saw
That was in that one question. Yeah, but that's good catch, Jim. As I said, it's not to say we couldn't consider doing tires, but I think there's a pretty stable tire outlet. I mean, you have to pay for it, but most places that sell tires will take them back.
Don't they charge, like if you buy new tires and your old tires are shot, don't they charge like a disposal fee?
They do, but that, a lot of people don't know is that fee was I don't think it was ever intended to fund recycling tires, it was intended for some transportation. But there is a fee that's tacked on when we buy tires. But this, and they call it a disposal fee, but the money actually goes to something else.
We did ask the recycling authority, took this before the recycling authority, and asked them to verify this. They preferred the program to be funded through general fund taxpayer dollars instead of a user fee. That was their,
Why?
I'm not sure we got a lot more detail than you do.
We got into a long discussion. First, they thought we should get more sponsorships, but we just can't rely on that.
And that takes a lot of time and effort.
Takes a lot of
to get
time
out
and
to
effort.
deliver it, or-
Then it migrated into, well, let's get sponsorships, and then the residents that come from municipalities that gave sponsorship, we won't charge them, we'll charge them. And I said, wait a minute, then you're gonna be on site, checking everyone's IDs, determining what municipality they live in, and whether they paid or not. And then it just evolved to the one program, which the best way to do this is general fund.
The easiest way to do it is general fund. That's what we said.
I was a little shocked by I thought they'd been biting on this more than they did.
Justin, that survey question where you asked whether or not you would pay for this service, was there like a estimate of the price of the cost, or just a general question? Did you say yes or
It's
no?
right here as you see it, yeah.
Okay.
Or, Vince, there was no,
All right. Well, if they
That's-
see 25 cents a pound, it's half of what we charge for the.
Yeah, the problem with the general fund, the way I would look at it is that, that's like saying everybody generates household hazardous waste. We have some people that, are seniors and others that they don't, they're not paying that much anymore or whatever. Okay, the bottom line is that it's not really that equitable. Whereas, here you're talking about a user fee. People that need to get rid of this stuff the right way, they're going to pay something small,
Yeah, I'd echo that. Even just on a practical level, I've been a big believer that people are willing to pay for a specific service if they see value in the service. What people hesitate on is seeing their money go into a black hole of government spending, and they don't know what it's going for, and probably potentially they interpret it going for a lot of things they don't like or know or support or whatever. And I think if you ask the same question, if you ask the same audience the question, not only are you willing to pay for this service, but as you said, would you rather see your property taxes go up to pay for an increased recycling effort? A lot of people would change their minds under that condition, so.
that happens at the East Center. Just yesterday, I heard two people say, this is free in Dalton County. And I said, not really. And I explained why we did what we did versus using taxes, and then their demeanor changes.
So we're still running into that too. That's an issue that probably needs to be communicated. We should find ways to push that message out to people understand.
That's point well taken.
they because they have the incinerator, right? They're able to, isn't that how they are able to generate the money for their e-recycling program in Dolphin?
In Dolphin, I've heard that it's.
Because we don't have a solid waste facility.
No, they don't. Lancaster owns the incinerator now. The Harrisburg used to own the incinerator,
Okay.
which did pay Dauphin County like $5 a ton.
Yeah.
Dolphin pays for theirs out of general fund dollars.
Yeah.
And as we know, their property taxes are much higher.
That- that's
It used to be
right.
3 times
So,
over.
if you want to emulate Dolphin on the, no cost side, you're going to end up having to emulate Dolphin on the higher taxes side too, so not a great choice.
I forgot, that's right, the incinerator's owned by Lancaster.
They bought Lancaster and so.
Okay, well, yeah, I think we should explore it. What I think is that, maybe we back this and take a look at it, we put something in place, but it might be like a pilot. Okay?
I agree.
Because I'm thinking,
Maybe it doesn't work, yeah.
I mean, we may end up with, okay, now that we're charging people, that people aren't gonna necessarily participate, but. 'cause-
Well, just FYI, I did talk, so the contractor we've been using, we piggyback on a state contract. They've been doing to Blair County, so when they started charging 50 cents per pound for paint, they saw about a 17% drop off, which I didn't think was bad. I thought it'd be in participation. I thought it'd be more than.
And if I heard you correctly, because paint's not really considered hazardous, that even that,
Water-based paint is not considered.
Right.
Oil-based is because it's flammable.
right, but the law doesn't see them any differently in terms of.
Not in a homeowner's hands.
Not, okay. So the fact that there might be hypothetically a 17% drop off does not necessarily mean that that's hazardous material, that an equivalent amount of hazardous material
Correct.
going into the waste stream.
Yes, correct, because they do take both latex and oil-based, yeah.
To Justin, I didn't think we take latex paint.
That we advertise, we don't, because it's not, even
It's not.
even when we get it, it's
It's
not.
supposed to.
The general recommendation is to dry it, because you can dry it
Yeah.
and then put it in
Okay.
the trash.
I just was gonna ask if you have complaints from people saying, you know, accept.
We do, and I know some makes its way through. I mean, it's so hard to.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. And if we went with a fee, I would actually suggest we consider accepting it. If you're gonna help pay
Yeah.
for, because that's one of, probably, that is the biggest item that people burn. Paint in general, they just say paint.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is that I would continue to try to get more of the haulers to, contribute toward the program. I mean, because in essence, we're reducing what they have to deal with, right? As far as the municipal sponsorship, it is kind of inequitable right now, because we only have a handful of municipalities that are contributing toward it, but everybody's getting benefiting from it, so.
Some of the ones that are contributing are some of the smaller ones,
Yeah,
like Newville Borough, and
Yeah.
some of our larger ones are.
I wondered, in fact, I thought of this when we sent your last update around to it. We should do some type of recognition for those municipalities and others that have done sponsorships,
Yeah.
certificate. I'd be happy to go to a few municipal meetings, present it to them, make it a little ceremony if they're
Yeah.
interested in that. And just our way of saying thank you to those who give it a little recognition for their local
First,
officials.
it's probably some of the ones that don't have the resources the others have.
Yeah.
They're giving us the money.
yeah, but I mean, not like, what I'm thinking of is that, I was thinking of Penn Waste. The Advanced is given 20 grand, Penn Waste should be given 20 grand, I guess you saw the article too, that the Advanced now is telling everybody they're not collecting glass bottles or any glass anymore. That's all going to end up in landfills then, I guess.
We might stay tuned on that. I was at a pre-bid meeting yesterday. They're taking some flack over that. So they may back off.
But didn't you indicate to me that they were simply taking it, they were not required by the contract to take it, they simply.
That's what the paper said, yeah.
Paper said that.
Yeah, I don't.
Paper's never wrong.
I don't know the details of Southampton's contract, but that's what they said, that
Okay.
it wasn't even part of the contract requirement to offer recycling. They were just doing it.
But we haven't confirmed that. We don't know if that's true.
Yeah, I can check with Scott or Jerry.
That'd be good. I think.
What I
interesting to
do know is Advance takes, so multiple people can collect this stuff, but you need to take it somewhere. And there's not every disposal company owns a materials recycling facility. They take their stuff to Apple Valley Recycling in Hagerstown, Maryland. Apple Valley, I don't know why, but has always struggled with glass. Glass is an issue if you don't have the right equipment to deal with it. So I think they're getting pressure from Apple Valley, hey, we don't want your glass anymore. You guys got to do something. But I talked to Penn Waste, and their glass is not a problem. We can take it here. So, how do you tell the public that, a mixed message there? And then Penn Waste was earlier this year big on paper and plastics because of the China issue. But what some people were saying is they'll wise up, they'll figure out how to clean it up. And they told me that they're backing off that a little bit now because they figured out to market some of that material. There's a lot of initial panic and I think knee-jerk reactions. But I think what you're seeing though is the public wants recycling and they're going to demand it. And they're going to take a lot of flack if they do.
There'll generally be somebody who will figure out some way to make money off of it, and then they set set the standard for.
And those people will succeed and leave the impact. It takes time, it may take a little bit of time, though.
Oh, yeah.
We have some rough spots here.
And
I think it'll resolve itself.
I think the three of us are in agreement to proceed with the proposal,
Yeah.
review it, and bring it back to.
Of course, the better solution would be the state legislation to allow for a little tipping fee on all of them, so that you can support these recycling programs. And that way, everybody pays, right? Everybody pays something. But it's not a general fund budget item, it's for a specific purpose. But they have moved on that legislation.
That's a good point, I wanted to mention.
Remember that? It was, yeah, it looks like been advocated now for about a dozen years. And I don't
10
think
years, at
it's-
least 10 years.
and of course, we lost the administrative fee, which means we're not getting any funding at all for solid waste funds, so.
if we want this to continue, eventually there's going to have to be a revenue source for it, one way or another. Just look at
Well, I guess this is the end user, but I don't know. I mean, again, it's, people are going to make a decision as to whether or not I'm going to just put this in the trash, or I'm going to pay 25 cents a pound or whatever we come up with, for a fee. The electronics is different because they don't have any choice. They put that, in fact, the guy who lives on my street, this TV's still sitting there. He stuck it out front, it's been sitting out there for 2 months, I think.
Still.
Yeah, it's one of those,
What do you wanna pay
it's one of those wood consoles and everything,
Did you ever bring yours in?
Yes, I did.
No.
That's when you guys got rich.
Did you hear that?
That's what he asked us to reevaluate the fee.
What did I say? It's like $24. 24 bucks.
Justin, do you have anything else?
That's it.
All right, thank you, guys.
Good work, thinking proactively.
Yes. Sandy, do we have any other business?
No?
Dana, anything? Samantha?
No.
Okay, anybody? Is there a motion to